Welcome back to our channel History Coins HD. As you that old as gold, but these Jefferson Nickel 5-cent coins that are most valuable than you think, don't spend one of them. You're lucky if you have one of these, so please watch complete video and find your treasure. Let's start this. Top 1 Treasure Seekers and Coin Lovers. Today, we're unlocking the mystery behind one of the most fascinating and sought-after coins in American numismatic history, the 1964 Jefferson Nickel. Now, you might be thinking, it's just a 5-cent coin, right? But what if I told you that hiding in plain sight, among drawers, jars, and forgotten boxes, this unassuming nickel could be worth a fortune? Grab your magnifying glass and join us on this deep dive into one of the most talked about coins among collectors. By the end of this video, you'll understand why the 1964 Jefferson Nickel isn't just pocket change, but potentially a prize worth thousands. And yes, we'll reveal the exact value some of these coins have fetched at the very end, so make sure to stick around. Let's rewind time to 1964, a significant year in American history. The Beatles landed in the US, civil rights marches swept across the nation, and the country was deep in the space race. Meanwhile, something much smaller but equally remarkable was happening at the US Mint.in that year. The United States was facing a coin shortage. Millions of Americans were hoarding silver coins due to rising silver prices, causing chaos in everyday transactions. To help ease the shortage, the Mint produced massive quantities of base metal coins like the nickel. The Jefferson Nickel, first introduced in 1938, had always been a workhorse of the American coin system. Named after Thomas Jefferson, the third president of the United States, this coin featured his profile on the front and his famous home, Monticello, on the back, but 1964 was no ordinary production year. The U.S. Mint pumped out over 1 billion nickels between its Philadelphia and Denver locations. And with so many coins minted, you might be asking, how could any 1964 Jefferson Nickel be rare? Here's where the story takes a turn. Despite the high mintage numbers, a very small number of these nickels were struck using special dies, tools used to stamp the coin's design, originally intended for proof or test strikes. These dies created coins with sharper details, cleaner lines, and in some cases, slight variations from the standard version. Add to that the fact that many of these unique nickels were not meant to be released into general circulation, and you've got yourself a true rarity. Some of the 1964 Jefferson Nickels also exhibit minting errors, like doubled dies, off-center strikes, or full steps on the Monticello building on the reverse. Full steps refer to the lines on Monticello's staircase being fully visible and sharply defined, which is incredibly rare for that year due to worn dies used during high production. Coins with full steps are incredibly desirable in the collector's market, especially from the 1960s, when such quality was uncommon. Now, let's talk design for a moment. On the obverse side, you have Jefferson's classic left-facing profile with the inscription, "In God We Trust," and "Liberty," along with the mint year. On the reverse, Monticello stands strong, a symbol of early American architecture and vision. The simplicity and symbolism of the design make it an iconic piece of Americana, but not all 1964 Jefferson Nickels are created equal. Those that were carefully preserved, never entered circulation, or struck under unique circumstances are the ones that collectors drool over. We're talking about coins that look like they just left the mint yesterday: flawless luster, no scratches, and sharp detail. These are the coins that command attention at auctions and private sales. And now, here's where things get even more exciting. Over the years, numismatists and collectors have discovered a few extremely rare examples of the 1964 Jefferson Nickel that meet the highest grading standards, specifically MS67 or higher, with full steps. These nickels are virtually perfect, with mirror-like surfaces and zero wear due to their condition, rarity, and historical significance. These few 1964 Jefferson Nickels have been known to command jaw-dropping prices on the collector's market, and now, the moment you've been waiting for. One of these rare 1964 Jefferson Nickels, in absolutely pristine condition with full steps and exceptional strike quality, was sold for a staggering $85,000. Yes, you heard that right. A 5-cent coin that once bought you a gumball could now buy you a luxury car or even a small house. All because of rarity, condition, and a bit of luck. So what does this mean for you? If you've got an old coin collection passed down from family, or if you love browsing yard sales and flea markets, keep your eyes peeled for the 1964 Jefferson Nickel. Check for full steps, mint errors, and high-quality preservation. You never know, you just might be holding onto a 5-cent piece of American history worth a small fortune. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the mysterious world of rare coins, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell so you never miss another numismatic adventure. Drop a comment below if you have a 1964 nickel or a rare coin story of your own, we'd love to hear it. Top 2, where we uncover hidden treasures, one coin at a time. Today, we're diving into the story of a simple yet incredibly valuable coin, the 1975 Jefferson Nickel. You've probably seen hundreds of these nickels in your life. Maybe you even have one tucked away in a drawer, lying forgotten in a jar of loose change. But here's the kicker: the seemingly ordinary 5-cent coin from 1975 could be worth far more than you ever imagined. So, before you cash in your coins at the bank or toss them into a vending machine, you might want to hear the full story of this rare gem. Let's set the stage. It's 1975. The United States is coming out of a turbulent time. The Vietnam War has just ended, the economy is shaky, and Americans are adjusting to a new era of change. Amid all this, the U.S. Mint is going about its daily routine, producing coins for the nation's commerce. In Denver, the Mint facility stamped millions of Jefferson nickels that year, each one bearing a small D mint mark to show its origin. At first glance, the 1975 D Jefferson nickel might not seem like anything special. On one side, you've got the familiar left-facing portrait of Thomas Jefferson, his name inscribed along the edge. The words "In God We Trust" are etched proudly above, and to the right, Liberty, followed by the year 1975. Flip the coin over, and you'll see Jefferson's iconic estate, Monticello, with the words "E Pluribus Unum, United States of America," and 5 cents. It's a classic design, unchanged for decades. But don't let its simplicity fool you. Within the mountain of 1975 D nickels, a few rare coins stand out, coins that are turning heads in the numismatic world. So what makes some of these nickels special? The answer lies in the condition, the details, and the hidden flaws that make certain coins extraordinary. Most of the nickels from 1975 were used in everyday transactions, bounced around in pockets, purses, and cash registers. As a result, they picked up scratches, dings, and dullness over the years. But once in a while, a coin escapes that fate. It never enters circulation. It's preserved in near-perfect condition, with all its details crisp and unblemished. These coins, known as mint state or MS coins, are the ones collectors dream about. Now, let's talk about the real star of the show, the 1975 D Jefferson nickel with full steps. You see, on the back of the coin, Monticello has a staircase leading up to the entrance. On most nickels, especially from the mid-70s, these steps are faint or completely worn down due to worn-out minting equipment and high-speed production. But when a coin is struck with fresh dies and given a perfect impression, the steps come out clean, sharp, and well-defined. If all 5 or 6 steps are visible and unbroken, the coin earns the prestigious full steps designation. Finding a 1975 D nickel with full steps is extremely rare. In fact, only a small handful have been certified with this distinction, making them highly sought after by collectors. And when rarity meets perfect condition, that's when the value starts to soar, and that's not all. Errors and variations also come into play. Some 1975 D nickels were struck off-center, have die cracks, or show doubling on the lettering. These so-called error coins are unique, one-of-a-kind items that make collectors go wild. They're not just coins, they're accidents of history, frozen in metal. So, maybe you've got a 1975 D Jefferson nickel sitting somewhere in your house. Maybe it's got those full steps. Maybe it's nearly flawless. Maybe, just maybe, it's that one coin everyone's been searching for, and now comes the moment you've been waiting for. One of these incredibly rare 1975 D Jefferson nickels, certified in pristine mint state condition with sharp full steps and flawless detail, has sold for an astonishing $68,000. Yes, you heard that right. A 5-cent coin, minted in Denver in 1975, once worth just a sliver of your morning coffee, could now be worth more than a luxury SUV. So the next time you're sorting through loose change, take a closer look. You never know what treasures might be hiding in plain sight. One coin. One detail. That's all it takes to turn 5 cents into a small fortune. If you enjoyed this journey through numismatic history, be sure to give this video a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and tap the bell so you don't miss out on the next hidden treasure we uncover. Got any rare coins of your own? Drop a comment below, we'd love to hear your story. Top 3: if you're a coin collector, a history buff, or someone who just loves discovering hidden value in everyday things, then you're in for a treat. Because today, we're turning the spotlight on a coin that millions of people have seen, but very few truly understand, the 1971 Jefferson nickel. Now, we all know the nickel. It's one of the most ordinary coins in American pockets. You've probably used one to pay for parking, grab a candy bar, or it's jingling right now at the bottom of your car cup holder. But what if I told you that one very special version of this 5-cent coin, minted in Denver in 1971, is worth more than most people make in a year? Before we talk dollars, let's talk history. The year was 1971. America was in the middle of cultural transformation. The Vietnam War was raging. NASA was planning new missions. And while people were protesting in the streets or dancing to rock and roll, the U.S. Mint was busy producing billions of coins that would quietly carry pieces of history through time. Among those coins was the Jefferson nickel. A familiar face, Thomas Jefferson, third President of the United States, graced the front, as he had since 1938. His famous home, Monticello, stood proudly on the back. The design hadn't changed for decades, but that didn't make every nickel the same. In fact, in 1971, something subtle, rare, and incredibly valuable was happening behind the scenes. Let's zoom in on the Denver Mint, the one that marked its coins with a small d just to the right of the Monticello building. That year, the Denver Mint struck millions of nickels. Most were everyday coins, nothing fancy, nothing collectible. But among those millions, a few exceptional coins were struck under just the right conditions, and that's where the story gets interesting. See, most nickels are struck using dies that wear out quickly. Over time, the details get soft, the edges blur, and the coin becomes, well, just another coin. But sometimes, a fresh die is used. The metal is crisp. The strike is sharp. And the result? A coin with incredible detail, deep luster, and perfect preservation. Now, let's talk about something called full steps. If you flip a Jefferson nickel and look closely at Monticello, you'll see the stairs leading up to the building. On most nickels, especially from the 1970s, those steps are barely visible. That's because the worn-out dies or light strikes didn't capture the full detail. But on the rarest, highest quality coins, all 5 or 6 steps are visible, clear, clean, and complete. That's called a full steps designation. And in the coin world, that's like striking gold. A 1971 Jefferson nickel with full steps is extremely rare. Why? Because that year, the Denver Mint focused more on quantity than quality. The dies were used long past their prime, and most nickels came out with weak details. So when a full steps version surfaces, collectors go wild. But wait, there's more. Some 1971 nickels also feature errors. These are coins struck off-center, with die cracks, doubled images, or even misaligned strikes. Each of these quirks makes the coin more unique, and in some cases, more valuable. These aren't mistakes, they're minting miracles. And now, here's the real kicker. A rare 1971 Jefferson nickel that has all the right qualities, sharp strike, uncirculated condition, full steps, and pristine preservation, was recently sold at auction for a price that might make your jaw drop. A coin that started life as just 5 cents, forgotten in someone's change, later reappeared and made history in the collector's market, and now, the moment you've been waiting for. The most valuable known example of the 1971 Jefferson nickel sold for an incredible $76,000, yes, you heard that right. A nickel that once bought a stick of gum is now worth more than a luxury car, or even a down payment on a house. So what does this mean for you? It means the next time you reach into your pocket, take a second look. That old coin sitting in a jar might just be the next hidden gem. Look for the year 1971. Check for that little D mint mark. And if the coin looks especially sharp, flip it over and check those steps. Because hidden in plain sight, you might just have a 5-cent fortune. Thanks for watching, treasure hunters. If you enjoyed this deep dive into a piece of American numismatic magic, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell so you never miss a new discovery. Drop a comment below if you've ever found a rare coin or want us to cover one you're curious about. Top 4 if you've ever looked at your spare change and thought, there's no way this old nickel is worth anything, you might want to think again. Because today, we're going deep into the story of a small coin with a big secret, the 1973 Jefferson Nickel. That's right. A 5-cent piece that many people have tossed into tip jars, parking meters, or piggy banks without a second thought could actually be worth more than most people expect. And by the end of this video, you'll find out just how much one of these nickels sold for, so stick around, because this isn't just about pocket change. This is about a rare piece of American numismatic history. Let's rewind to 1973. It was a year full of change and tension. The Vietnam War was winding down, the Watergate scandal was heating up, and gas was about 40 cents a gallon. While people were focused on the news, music, and culture of the time, something else was happening, quietly and almost invisibly, at the United States Mint. In Denver and Philadelphia, mint workers were producing millions of Jefferson nickels. These were everyday coins, designed for daily use, and not meant to be rare or special in any way. Just another piece of money passing from hand to hand, but what makes this year's nickel so special? It all comes down to the details, literally. Let's start with the design. On the front of the coin, or obverse, we see a proud and serious Thomas Jefferson. His profile had been featured on the nickel since 1938. His expression, the curve of his hair, the fine lines on his coat, it's all meant to reflect the legacy of a founding father. The word liberty is engraved in Jefferson's handwriting, followed by the year, 1973. Flip it over, and there's Monticello, Jefferson's famous Virginia estate. A neoclassical building with columns and stairs, it represents the president's love for architecture and innovation. Below it, the coin reads 5 cents, with United States of America curving beneath it. Classic. Elegant. American. So far, nothing seems too out of the ordinary, right? But here's where things start to get interesting. While millions of these nickels were minted in 1973, only a tiny handful have been found in extraordinary condition. And when it comes to coin collecting, condition is everything. Collectors are always looking for nickels with what's known as full steps. These are coins where the stairs on Monticello are fully visible, every single step, cleanly struck, with no signs of wear or weak printing. Getting a coin with full steps, especially from the 1970s, is extremely rare. That's because the minting process back then often resulted in soft strikes and worn dies, making it almost impossible for the steps to show up clearly. But once in a blue moon, a coin makes it through in near perfect condition. Maybe it was the first coin struck from a brand new die. Maybe it was never released into circulation. Maybe it was carefully preserved by a collector who saw something special. Whatever the case, it survives and it shines. And now, the 1973 Jefferson nickel is also known among collectors for certain varieties and errors. That means some coins have double die features, slight misalignments, or even small cracks and flaws that happened during production. While these might seem like imperfections, to a collector, they're gold. Error coins are unique, often one of a kind, and they carry a premium in the market. And here's something most people don't realize: just because a coin is common in general doesn't mean that a flawless example isn't rare. In fact, high-quality nickels from 1973 are so scarce that collectors are willing to pay huge sums for a certified, full-step specimen in mint state condition. So, let's say you've got a coin collection sitting in a box somewhere. Or maybe you've inherited some old change from a family member. You might want to take a closer look, because if one of those nickels happens to be from 1973, and if it has full steps in perfect detail, you could be sitting on something incredibly valuable. It's not about the face value anymore. It's about rarity, condition, history, and now, here it comes, the big reveal you've been waiting for. 1 Rare 1973 Jefferson nickel, in stunning mint condition with full steps, recently sold for an unbelievable $72,000. Yes. A 5-cent coin turned into a 5-figure treasure. That's the power of numismatics. That's the kind of discovery that turns everyday people into lucky collectors overnight. So next time you get change at the store or clean out an old drawer, take a second look. Because you never know what you're holding. A simple nickel could change your life, or at the very least, make your day a whole lot more interesting. If you loved this story and want more jaw-dropping coin discoveries, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell icon so you never miss out on the next hidden gem. Got a rare coin of your own or a cool find? Drop a comment below, we want to hear your stories. Top 5. If you think that 5 cents can't change your life, think again. Because today, we're taking a deep dive into one of the most surprising coins to come out of American pockets, the 1987 Jefferson nickel. Yes, you heard that right. A Jefferson nickel from 1987. It's not ancient, it's not made of gold, and it doesn't carry the mystique of coins from the 1800s. But what if I told you that this modern-day 5-cent piece, minted in Denver, could be worth tens of thousands of dollars? That's no exaggeration, and by the time we reach the end of this video, you'll see why some collectors are paying small fortunes for a coin most people would never look twice at. Let's jump back to 1987 for a moment. Ronald Reagan was president, the Cold War was slowly coming to an end, and Americans were rocking out to cassette tapes and blockbuster movies. The economy was shifting, technology was evolving, and like clockwork, the US Mint was rolling out coins for everyday transactions. Among them, the humble Jefferson Nickel. On the surface, the 1987 D nickel looks like any other. Thomas Jefferson, the third president of the United States, faces left on the obverse, his signature features captured in a classic and familiar design. His name, along with the word liberty and the date 1987, is proudly inscribed. On the reverse, Monticello stands tall, Jefferson's elegant estate, complete with its iconic dome and neoclassical pillars. The design hadn't changed much since 1938, and by 1987, the Jefferson nickel was about as common as a penny. But as we've learned over and over in the coin world, it's not always about how many coins were made, it's about how they were made, and how they've survived the test of time. Now here's where things get really interesting. The Denver Mint struck hundreds of millions of Jefferson nickels that year. But as we dig into the details, we uncover a hidden truth: not all 1987 D nickels are created equal. Some were struck with worn dies, resulting in weak details. Others were rushed through production, leading to imperfections and blurred features. That's totally normal for circulation coins, but somewhere along the way, a few of these nickels came out different. Every once in a while, a coin is struck at just the right moment, with fresh dies and a flawless planchet. The result? A perfect coin with incredible detail, luster, and definition. The kind of coin that catches the eye of even the most seasoned numismatist. And when we're talking about Jefferson nickels, that perfection is judged most critically by what's known as full steps. Let me explain. If you flip the coin over and look closely at Monticello, you'll see a set of stairs leading to the entrance. On most nickels, those steps are faint, faded, or missing entirely due to weak strikes. But on the rarest and highest quality coins, all 5 or 6 steps are clean, visible, and uninterrupted. These are called full steps nickels, and they're the holy grail for Jefferson collectors. A 1987 D nickel with full steps is incredibly rare. Why? Because quality control in the 80s focused more on speed and volume than precision. Coins were mass-produced for everyday use. Nobody expected anyone to care about step lines on a 5-cent piece. But here we are decades later, with collectors hunting down these unicorns and paying massive premiums for them. Now, add to that the factor of pristine condition. A coin graded mint state 67 or higher? That's like finding a brand new car from 1987 with 0 miles on it. Throw in full steps, and you've got something truly exceptional, something auction houses will fight to get their hands on. But there's more to the story. A few of these 1987 D nickels have also been discovered with subtle errors, die cracks, off-center strikes, or even doubling in the lettering. These types of minting mistakes turn an already rare coin into a one-of-a-kind collector's dream. Coin enthusiasts aren't just buying the coin, they're buying history, uniqueness, and rarity all rolled into one. And here's the kicker: because the 1987 D Jefferson nickel is from a relatively modern era, most people overlook it. They assume it's just spare change. It's the kind of coin that ends up in parking meters, vending machines, or stuck between couch cushions. But that's exactly what makes it so exciting. Because among the billions of common nickels, there are a few extraordinary ones hiding in plain sight. So, maybe you've got a collection of coins passed down from your parents or grandparents. Maybe you love searching through rolls of change, or maybe you've never thought twice about what's in your pocket. After this video, you just might want to take a closer look, because now, it's time for the big reveal. Point 1: exceptionally rare 1987 D Jefferson nickel, in stunning mint state condition with full steps and flawless detail, has sold at auction for an unbelievable $65,000. Yes, you heard that right. $65,000 for a 5-cent coin minted in the late 1980s. That's the kind of story that reminds us why coin collecting is so much more than a hobby. It's a hunt, a puzzle, and sometimes, a hidden jackpot. So the next time you're going through your change, slow down. Examine. Inspect. Because you never know which coin might be your ticket to something truly valuable. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel for more amazing coin stories, and tap the notification bell so you never miss a discovery. Got a 1987 D nickel in your collection? Let us know in the comments, we'd love to hear about your finds. Thanks for watching, and remember, sometimes, it's the smallest coins that hold the biggest surprises. Keep hunting, keep checking, and who knows? You might just have a fortune hiding in your pocket.